Welcome to Soul, Light, and Body. How are you guys doing today? We are a little bit late, but you know what? We're good and we're ready to go. We're powered up, we're fired up, we got all the energy, and we're just ready to go. You know, in these couple of moments before we got on the show, it clearly shows us about perseverance. It clearly shows us about strength because you don't allow little things to get you down. You gotta find a way how to navigate and to get things done. If one thing don't work, you gotta switch to something else. If something else don't work, you switch to something else. It's all about navigating and make things happen. And that is what we just did. We navigate to make things happen.
Right, right. Absolutely.
And today we got such a fabulous topic. We are talking about healing. And healing, we all need to listen to this subject this evening because some time or the other we're going to need to hear these words as we walk through this journey called life. And healing is your well-being. It's your mental, your physical, your emotional. It covers your whole well-being. It's holistically. And you really need to go within if you're really looking to heal yourself. And you cannot rush the process. You cannot rush the process. Healing takes time. And the time period that you're healing, that is the time period you will understand yourself on a deeper level because evolution is taking place. It's okay to pull back if you got to pull back from social media, if you got to pull back from your friends, it's quite okay to do that because you know what? You're doing it for you. And you know what? You're doing it for generations who's going to come after you. You're standing up and you're taking the baton and you're saying, you know what? I am going to do this for my generation who's going to come after me. Because once you heal yourself, you heal generations who's going to come after you. Because remember, our DNA is being passed down to generations. So we need to take that control over our lives and start that healing process. And when you start that healing process, there's where the growth and there's where the evolution happens. And during that process also, you can use those challenges as stepping stone. All those things that you go through, you use it as stepping stone to take you forward. Because the thing is, you will always need those tools to work your way through life. You will always need those tools. And what modalities are you using? Are you being grateful? Are you showing gratitude? Are you being mindful of what you're doing? What form of spirituality are you practicing? Is it meditation, yoga, whatever prayers? Because you have to have some form of spirituality when you're going through this healing process. Because many times you have to sit still. It calls for stillness. So you can able to process and you can able to listen to that inner wisdom that is coming up to help you with the process of healing. But you know what? I'm going to leave it to Saul and to Will to dive deep into it further. I'm going to just scrape the surface, but I'm going to leave them to take us within the body. They're going to go deep within the body. And before I go further, our friends, the cultural gathering for holistic health and wellness, it's November the 8th to the 10th in Puerto Rico. And if you're listening to this program today, this podcast, if you're living in Puerto Rico, just make some contact because you could be a part of this. It's both in English and Spanish, and this is an ancestral. It's ancestral, and again, this is a lot of healing also. Because you're healing your once you get involved with the ancestors, it's healing. You're able to understand yourself on a deeper level. So you can make connection. We got the links down below. You can make connection, find out more about it, and they will able to let you know exactly what's happening. So I'm going to now hand the mic over to Joan Williams. Take the mic.
Thank you. Great opening as always. We're here.
Yes, we are.
And we are in the month of October, almost to the conclusion. It's harvest time. What seeds have you planted in the prior months that you're reaping now? What are you harvesting? That's the question tonight, asking. And sit with that a minute. I know in the commencement of 2024, you set all these goals and you're working through them. One of the things we want to ask you tonight is don't be hard on yourself. Show yourself grace. Look at your goals where you are at this point in time, because one of the things you would like to do, I'm sure, you want to finish strong. And how you finish strong, you got to be realistic. Take a evaluate your goals where you are right now and all your goals that you set to finish strong in 2024. Look at them. See what makes sense, what is relevant, be smart about it, and then pick those that you know that you can finish strong, you feel fulfilled, you feel satisfied, that you know that I really did work hard in this year. You want you to celebrate your wins, big or small. You work hard to get to this point. No, it's not very easy. But putting in time, courage, dedication, and finding a level of resiliency to attain whatever you have received. Show yourself grace, love, and compassion because you're worth it. You're special, you're amazing, you're one of a kind, and you are worthy. Get to the level of worthiness. Show yourself a level of gratitude. Be grateful for who you are. We just completed an event in NYC a week ago, and we spoke about where we were graced with Saul and we were graced with Will and Tom and the Mount Banty was there live. And all the speakers from across the world enlighten us and talk to us about healing and how we can achieve living our daily lives incorporating mindfulness and kindfulness. What kind of practice are you doing today? Are you listening live? Are you catching us on the replay? What are you doing in your daily lives? Practicing mindfulness and kindfulness so you can fulfill you, so that you can serve yourself and serve others. It's so important because we all want to live a fulfilled life. And what steps are we taking to achieve that? Sit with that a minute and think about it. We all want to able to show up with our power. Because when we walk into spaces, we want to show up with our power. We want to come with everything. Bring that level of vibration, bring the level of frequency, because people never forget how you make them feel. You want to bring that. But in order for you to function on all of that, self care, self love, lean into your inner wisdom so that you can be strong enough. That's why we wrote this book based on self care. Your mental, your physical, your emotional, every part of you. And to top that off, nourish yourself. Eat great food which we can talk a lot about that in our discussion. Nourish yourself. Make great choices when you go to the supermarket so you can stay healthy and strong. Because this body here, this vehicle that we have, is our infrastructure. And how we build it, that is how we can enjoy all the fruits and everything we're working on. But for us to enjoy that, we got to be strong. We got to stay healthy so we can get all of that. And then help others and continue to shine your light because we all have that light within us. So when we can shine our light and help others to shine their light, it's a great illumination. So sit for that, be that. And we're here tonight to encourage you, to support you, because you are special. And we want the best for you so that you can live your best, be your true essential self. Walk in your purpose, embrace your passion, and just be you. So tonight, thank you for joining us on live and replay. Sit back, relax, and kick it with us for this time because we got a great show for you tonight. We got great presenters, Will and Saul, two powerhouses who's come with great energy, great enlightenment, great clarity, insights, and perspective, how we can live our daily lives. My name is Joan, holistic health and wellness coach. And so I'm now going to toss the mic over to our two amazing guests. Yes, they are amazing. So, Saul, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight because we know you're going to give us all the goodies that we can expand our container and live our best. Will, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And we know you're going to do the same as Saul as well.
Thank
So,
you.
welcome to both of you. And both of you, well, you both are not strangers to the show, but you can just start off, Saul. You can start off and let us know who you are, and for those who are just joining us tonight for the first time.
Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you for those introductions. You guys are both phenomenal, always setting the lane to where we're going. So I hope that me and Will can land this plane because you guys left it, So, Will, we got a challenge tonight following that, right? Let's go. Let's try. Let's
Absolutely.
do our best. My name is Soul. Um, I am a health and wellness coach. I believe in holistic health. I do that in all aspects. The soul, mind, and body is something that we need to take look at as a whole in order to truly heal and get to be in a healthy state. I'm also a Reiki master, certified sound healer, just a jack of all the holistic traits, I guess you can say, a little bit in there. Energy healer, I do frequency therapy, I do quite a few things, but all in all, I focus on holistic health, and that's the most important. We do retreats at Natural Health Hub for healers as well as regular wellness retreats. So, depending on where you are, we got it all. Will?
All right. Yeah, that was really a good introduction there. I'm glad I didn't have to follow Joan tonight. She put you up. Yeah. I was hoping. I was like, I hope that she pitches the song. Hope she pitches the song. It worked out. She did. Ooh. She's a tough act to follow. Her energy is just all over the place. But I'm Will Williams. This is going to be a very good show. I'm a transformational speaker, and I'm into all type of other things with businesses, from tech to you name it, sports, media, all kinds of stuff. So I'm also a priest, spiritual priest. So I'm looking forward to talking about this subject because it's ironic. So that Karen and Joan decided to put you in the mix of this because I was going to talk about the healing that must take place from the outside in, and so I'm still recovering from a bite a few weeks ago, so my eye is still swollen. I have scars on my nose. All this is from poison that was injected. So uh, that's why I wanted to talk about the healthy healing because healthy healing takes patience, and everybody kind of wants it immediately because we live in a fast-paced
Right.
15, 30-second society now.
Right.
And so everything happens quick. So people don't really have the patience that it takes to heal properly. And the other thing about healing properly, a healthy way, is because is you have to own, and that takes looking in the mirror and being truthful with yourself. You have to actually own your own shortcomings. And people don't want to do that. They want to pass the buck and say it's you that's causing me to act this way or do this particular thing. And it comes back to you, who you are, and your principles that you set for yourself. And it makes you question whether you can follow up on what you say you believe in. And so I'm glad that they added you to this show. This is the first time I've actually done a show like this. So I'm looking forward to bouncing off of your energy. Karen and Joan, their energy is always, when we do a show together, it's always like a conversation that we're just sitting around with, just having alone. Nobody else is watching, but people are watching and listening to what we're saying. And so I'm glad tonight that you're going to be an addition to this conversation and the energy that comes with us getting together. So I'm looking really forward to all of this that you're going to bring to it, because you're going to take us in the inside of the body, which is what I just mentioned about like my scars coming back from this healing from my spider bite there. And it's going to be very good because you're going to put it in the context of where people can actually understand it, and that's going to be really good. Because we a lot of times we talk about spiritual, and spiritual stuff is unseen. Now, we live in a world where if you actually understand what spiritual energy is, you see what others do not see. You hear what others do not hear, and you know what others do not know. And so a lot of times people who are still wanting to live in a material world don't understand that this world is much more complex, just like healing, than it appears to be. So healthy healing is a complex thing because, like I said, you have to first take ownership of it, and a lot of people don't want to do that. So they can't heal properly because they're never owning what they need to heal from, and so they get a superficial healing, and then they say, "Okay, I'm ready to go off and I'm jumping into this other relationship, or I'm going to do this over here or do that over there," and they never are really ready. And so when things don't work out, then they're blaming the other people, but it's them, because it starts and stops there. And so that's why a lot of times you see this with men and women. I want to mention that men is in this too, because a lot of times they'll run from relationship to relationship. As soon as it ends, they'll wait months, maybe 2 months. Oh, I'm over it. I just need to move on. And you haven't healed. And
Right.
so you drag all that baggage into the next
Right.
relationship with
Right.
you.
Right.
And then you're trying to figure out why you chose this bad person that you see. All the signs are going to be there, but you're going to put them aside and say, no, it'll be okay. It'll be okay because I want to get over this other person, so it'll be all right. And you'll run off and get married to a person like that, or get seriously involved with dating them. And then when it all starts to fall apart, you start blaming them, but it's you. It comes back to you. Just like with my scars here, if I don't be patient and just let this heal, I'm impatient with it because I've never had to carry scars for this much time, and it's taken more longer than I anticipated and what it should. But my body is just it's taking time for my body to be strong enough to heal, what's on the outside that you see. And the same thing goes in healthy healing from an emotional standpoint. It takes longer than what you see to heal. And if you can't understand that, you cannot heal properly. And therefore, everything around you falls apart. And you're then kind of carrying this negative energy around with you. And you can't figure out why you feel so negative. But that's what it is because you haven't healed properly. And so I'm going to pitch back to you and let you take us on this journey that I'm looking forward to listening to and understanding myself. And so hopefully you people that are watching this show tonight or on the replay, take this information in and understand it. Process it to where you get it. And she's going to put it in the context to where you can grasp it, okay? Because a lot of times, Soul and Joan and Karen, on shows like this, when you're talking about this type of complex information, it goes over people's heads because people are trying to explain it from the context of their industry or the language that they use all the time. And then they try to come back and simplify simplify it. But you have to start from the simplification standpoint, and then you don't need to use certain words to explain it because all this is just common, you know. But we've tried to take basic information and in order to hide it, we've made it complex. And so she's going to be able to explain it in the context where you get it. By the time this show ends, you'll understand completely how all of this connects, and you need to understand how to heal properly in order for your body to function properly. So you have
That is so true. Sorry, Will. You did a good job in passing it. And we're glad that, well, we're so happy that you, first of all, both of you, congratulations for being on the conference that we had and the speakers. You guys did an amazing job. Each one of you help us to understand how we should really move in life and at the different levels and pinpoint certain things for us all to understand as we live life. What are some of the things that we can do to enhance our daily living? Just we just want to say that. So congratulations to both of you, and as well Tom, who's behind the scene as well, and to all our speakers. It was truly an amazing event. But Will, sorry, we
go ahead.
I was just gonna say thank you for sharing your story with the spider and helping us to understand that everything takes time and being patient to attain a level of healing. Thank you for saying that.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So,
Well, I'd like to also say and piggyback off what you said because I 100%, believe that, know that to be the case that the first step in us being able to take control of anything is to take responsibility because anything that is happening in our lives, we are choosing. And even if we're in a bad predicament, somehow our decisions have us there, right? Not when we're a kid. There's something that my mentor always says. If you're born into poverty, that's not your fault. But if you die broke, that is. And that's because your decisions drive your life. So it's time that, and you're right, instant gratification is always something that everybody is seeking, especially in this world that we're living in at such a fast pace on the East Coast over here in Jersey. Everybody wants everything at the drop of a dime, period. So you better move or they're going to the next one. And then you wonder why we're in survival mode, which is something that we're going to get into tonight.
Hey.
So I say all that to say, you know, there is a whole world happening within us, a whole world, guys. And that is what I want to dive into tonight. But I really want to break it down into making health and wellness easy for you guys, right? I think that that's the goal because if we can learn and we understand this process, we can also teach it, right? In the way that we also understand why meditation, journaling, and the tools that we talk about all the time, breath work, number one, always say it, are so crucial to our well-being. And this will help you guys understand that process. So first, we're going to start with within in order to understand what's going on with us and why we feel the way we feel. All right, you can pass it on to the next one, Karen, please. Once again, you guys know I'm Soul, so I'm going to be presenting at Health Hub. Basically, we believe in the holistic world. Like I said, it's soul, mind, and body. So these are necessary for us to take care of our mental health, emotional, and physical. And I just said what we will be educating you on following this one. You can move on to the next one. It is two of us in Natural Health Hub, just so you know. It is me, of course, and then it is also my wonderful business partner who could not be here tonight, but she is our herbalist of 19 years who healed herself as well. So she is amazing in the gut health. I wish she was here tonight to explain the gut one, but it's okay. We'll leave that one for the next show. You can jump on to the next one. There's a lot to cover tonight, guys, so I'm going to do my best to be kind and slow. Ladies, do you guys want to touch a little bit on this? I mean, your whole book is about this, or do you want me to go into the nervous system first? Do you
No,
guys want
you,
to
no,
real
you
quick?
go.
The floor
Karen
is
was
yours.
All right, wonderful. I just want to bring these facts up because I think that a lot of people are not familiar with the fact that we basically have two brains. Our gut is one of them. And it's so important to understand that that little brain down there does a lot of things and connects with a lot of stuff inside of us. And these things can affect us in ways such as brain fog. So, it can also affect the way that our heart is working, right? Skin health, sometimes you're dry, or sometimes, you're starting to break out and things like that. Your body is telling you something, your body is definitely talking to you through here. A lot of us deal with a lot of digestive issues. People don't realize that stress is one of the main causes why so many people deal with digestive issues in this world. It is immediate, it's affected. It's like, for example, if there is something that you hear, right, that you can't swallow, right, a pill, you can't swallow that pill per se, right, because somebody told you something that's just hard to digest. Well, the mind will take that literally and process it as such. And so next thing you know, you had this harsh news come to you and you're constipated, or you're backed up, or you feel your stomach is in a knot. It is. It is. And so I want you to understand the correlation of what you think is just a thought, but how it is actually affecting you within. All these thoughts do affect your organs. And these are ways in which they do. Some people are dealing with muscle aches, right? A lot of pain and things like that. I dare to say, I won't. I won't. I'll hold that. But
Okay.
muscle aches and things like that, where they don't realize some of these pains are not necessarily physical, they're actually emotional energies that have built up within you and now are manifesting themselves physically because you never took the time to emotionally or mentally release them. And so a lot of us have pain, pains that we deal with, our knees, our back. Now, in my world, the back is for anger. Who you mad at? If you got a pain in your knees, who's holding you back? Is it your right knee or is it your left knee? That could tell you if it's a woman or a man holding you back. You know, so, there's a lot of people that have pain in this area, right? Their shoulders, they're feeling like they feel almost pulled. You guys have no idea how many people I've helped have that be released in seconds because it's not something wrong with their shoulder
Sure.
or the scalpel. It's actually something wrong with them feeling pulled by somebody, right? So literally, it's like tug of war and they don't realize it, and it's manifesting in this physical format. A lot of people have a lot of pain in their neck and this area right here. That's all stress. Some people feel like they're carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. Literally, they are. Energetically, they are. Right? So these are the things that we're manifesting that we don't even realize we're causing upon ourselves through thought alone. I haven't said anything at all besides thoughts, right? And situations that are bringing all our mental side into it. Joint discomfort as well. These things all kick into it. And if we're not feeding ourselves right, of course, all these things kick into play as well because the food has a lot to do with it, right? But right now, we're going to stick to thoughts and emotions in this specific show that we're doing today. I won't even get into the gut health or eating healthy, but I do want you to know that all these things affect our gut. And if our gut is not clean and we're not doing these things to process it, we will be dealing with all of these discomforts you see here. So if you're not sleeping well, if you have low energy, if your metabolism is not up to play, if you're dealing with inflammation, digestive issues, skin health, guys, these could all be issues with the gut. Remember, second brain. So it's either how you're eating or something emotional that we have to process. One of those two things we're going to have to deal with. But we'll get deeper into that on the next one. What do you feel about that, Will?
Yeah, that's on point because I mean you're talking about the physical and the spiritual, and mental aspect of this whole thing. And that's what people don't actually connect the dots like that. They think only one area and that's where they kind of put all their focus at. And so a lot of times, like what you just mentioned about the gut health, they don't see the connection. They miss it. And
Mm-hmm.
so they think that it's something else that's causing that issue. But like you said, the food that we're being fed or go to the store and buy is not healthy food for us. You know, we could be eating, and it's not necessarily that you could be eating healthier. It's what they put in the food that's causing you issues too. So we have a whole, like I said, this is more complex than what it looks like on the surface. We have a whole thing that's put together that's working against you, basically. So you have to try to eat as healthy as you possibly can, and you have to make that a lifestyle. And a lot of people are not prepared to do that.
Right.
As you know, so people like to, and Joan and Karen, talks about this sometimes too. People don't like boundaries. They
Right.
think that they can speak it, but then just speaking it doesn't do much else than that. But that's where they're wrong at because, as you just said, everything is energy. So when you speak, whatever words you're using, those words are energy somewhere. They're going outward. And when they go out, they are floating around within the atmosphere and making a circle back to you. So if you're talking negative stuff about people, guess who's going to get the brunt of that? It's going to make its way back to you. Now, you won't understand that. You're like, oh, what the heck? I just lost $100. How did I do that? Because you're talking bad about somebody somewhere. So it, it's not as simple as people think. And all of us have mentioned this, I'm pretty sure, at one point or another. We're not able to see the full spectrum of what this world actually is. So we're only getting bits and pieces of it. And then we're thinking that that's all it is to the world. It is far more deeper than that. And as I've said on many occasions, we don't even really know what we really look like. We think that what we see in this image right here is it, but it's not. So
Right.
we have no idea what we look like. And so you don't find this kind of thing out until you start getting really deep into it. And I'm not saying that anybody needs to live a complete life of hermetism or a hermetic lifestyle, where they don't do nothing but hang around positive people. You have to live because those negative people or energies also help you grow. And so you can't put yourself in a bubble and say, all I'm going to do is sit around and pray and say, kumbaya, and then everything should be okay as long as I'm not mixed in with those negative people. That's them, not me. But actually, as you mentioned, so the body absorbs all of this. So whenever you're around someone, and you don't even have to really be around them, all of us are connected. And so even if you, like Soul is in New Jersey right now, my energy, I can feel her energy. And so now conceptually, there are people like, what the hell are you talking about? There's no way you could feel what she's but you can because we're all interconnected. We're nothing but star seeds, basically.
Right.
And so people don't understand any of that stuff because they haven't put themselves in a position to want to really understand the world. They've been told, and that's all. That's good enough for them. And so they've never wanted to experience or look into it or examine what the world actually is and what it can do for them. And so I'm glad that they put us on this show again tonight. You covered a little bit of it, but I'm going to turn it back over to you now and let you really, tear us apart and put us back together.
Well, I love this, but I definitely have to answer some of the things that you said. So
Okay.
beautiful comment on the food because it's very true. If you look into any supermarket, guys, if you walk around on the outsides, right, the outskirts of the supermarket, you see one side is all the vegetables, on the other side is all the cold stuff, right? That's where we should be buying. Everything in the middle of the store is processed. It's what it is.
Oh, wait a minute. So, wait a minute.
Gotta drop a
Okay.
little bomb on you.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That's a bomb there because everybody wants to shop in the other parts of the store and not the fruit and vegetable area. They don't want to. They don't
That's
want anything to do with that. They're heading down the cookie aisles and the chips aisle and all the junk that they can possibly process it get into their bodies. They're like, oh, down bananas. What the hell you talking about a banana? I don't want no banana. That don't even taste good to me. you know. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. It's so true. And it's like I said, it's something huge to, get into because that's why I said that one's going to have to be a whole show in itself because food is a whole process.
It
And
is.
people really need to understand the importance of how we're eating and how we're processing that because that's also a whole nother process on the inside. Our poor bodies is suffering so much and we don't even know. We should be like, I love you, heart. I love you, lungs. I love you, intestines. I'm so sorry because we
Uh-huh.
put our body through so much.
Absolutely.
So I'll give you one more example before I jump onto the nervous system. For example, cheese. Who loves cheese here?
Oh, everybody.
I do. I'm guilty, but it's so bad for you, especially when it's melted. And that's when it tastes the best, isn't it?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
it is.
But it turns into plastic. And then how is our body supposed to process plastic?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you know that it does. You like, I'm gonna eat this, and then I demand that you make it work out.
Right. Our poor body. One more to the stomach. Okay. All right. Now we can move on.
Okay. Okay.
I love all that though. Yes. So important to be informed, guys. That's why it's so important to stay aware because there are so many levels to this. There really are. Holistic health is not an overnight process. If you really want well-being, it is a lifestyle, period, in all aspects of it. Whether you're talking about the mental side, the emotional side, or the soul or the physical side. Each one, there's levels to it, guys. And the more we master it, the better we, learn our self-mastery. That is a process that will take a lifetime because anytime you get triggered, remember your tools, go back, right? Anytime you feel something or you're slipping, well, let me go to my tools. What do I remember, right? These are the things that we have to become aware of and get on point with and make sure that we continue to align ourselves to the lifestyle that we see ourselves as to live a healthy lifestyle.
Hold on. So before you go any further, so you're saying if one gets triggered, stay away from the ice cream, the cookies, the chips, the popcorn, to kind of give you an emotional. I'm okay. I'm all right. But I'm eating this junk food. But just forget that. I'm watching my favorite program and eating my stuff. So. But you're saying put the brakes on and reprocess that thinking and push away from that stuff.
There's healthy snacks, but see, we hear healthy and we think ill.
Yeah.
It's something that's been automated and we've been conditioned to because of all this nonsense that we're like we're looking for gratification, the sweets and the sugar and all that good stuff that's
Right.
making us feel good temporarily, but then we're dealing with diabetes and all these other things that we have to deal with afterwards. Yes, don't look for that. Start looking for healthy options. And there's some really good ones, by the way. There's some really good snacks. We just have to be educated to know what to look for, because things that I'll give you a quick thing of something not to buy. Anything that has high fructose corn syrup, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Stay away from it. I know those maple syrups that have it taste really, really good. They're really sweet and stuff, but they're not good for us. Soda, terrible for us. Stay away. Stay away.
No soda. Huh?
No soda. Not even
Uh,
diet. Okay. This new thing with diet, like it's aspartame. It still is, cancer causing. So regardless, these are and it still has, so you still can't win. You
Right.
lose the high fructose corn syrup, but now you have the aspartame. There's no benefit there. You're better off drinking the high fructose corn syrup. It's just as bad. They're both terrible.
Oh, so
Sorry.
yeah, you're ruining people's meals because they think that if they have that can sitting in front of them and it says diet, hey, I can drink this with no problem, no matter what I'm eating. I'm drinking a diet soda, so
No.
I'm okay.
A good substitute to sugars like that, from my experience, I would always say monk fruit or stevia. They're great substitutes for sugar, right? And they make some good snacks that have them in it versus actual sugar or anything that's on the other side that will bring the aspartame aspect of it. So those are my suggestions.
Okay, those are good suggestions too. People just have to buy into it, and like you said, it has to become a lifestyle. You can't make it a part-time thing. You have to actually want to live it,
That's
and when
right.
you live it, it becomes second nature to you. So you don't even notice that you're doing it because you believe that it's working for you, and it does work for you. Once you put your belief system into it, your spirit's gonna follow that because now it's not something that you're hoping for. You believe, and belief and hope, as I always say, are two totally different things. Okay? Belief can be repeated. Hope is just, I think that this is possible. And so you have to put your energy into belief. If you do that, you can then start to put one foot in front of the other and you can start seeing the progress that you will make because you believe that it's possible for you to make this thing repeat. For again, if you go back to hope, every day that you get up, you're like, I'm hoping, I might, but I'm not for sure. Maybe that's what hope is. And so you have to actually put all of you into it. And once you do have a belief system that's firm, then your path becomes very clear to you because every step that you take is purposeful. You then know why you're doing something. You're not just doing it just to be doing it. You know why you are doing it. That's a whole different ballgame. All right, back to you, so sorry.
No, I love that. I believe that hope is when we're still lacking that fulfillment that we're seeking, and belief is when we actually realize there's so much more than we expected. All right, so just my opinion. So I think that's very profound and very deep,
Right.
especially to me.
It is.
A
It's
lot
very
of
deep.
us need hope to hold on to something.
Right.
True.
Right.
Or are seeking it. What we need is that belief, system to help
Belief,
us.
exactly. But
Yes.
but see, before you get all the way into the other part that you're about to speak on, the belief aspect of it is because people haven't talked to the masses in the context of belief. They preached and kind of taught hope, and so that's why you stay kind of in this fuzzy thinking process of you're not for sure because you've never been taught how to believe in anything. You always have hope in everything. And so a lot of times that's people use the language hope. I hope this will work out. I hope I'm gonna do this. Well, I hope so.
That's from a
So
place of lack.
yes, it's a lack place. So when you speak in belief, it's possible for you. And like we said at the top of the show, and Joan and Karen alluded to this, when you speak in belief, everything is in this, like you said, is energy. So what you say matters. And so you cannot you know, just toss some things out there and think that it really means nothing because everything that you say has some effect on whether it's you directly at the moment or you directly later. It's coming back to you one way or the other. And it may come in the form of something that you spoke on where it's acted out against you in some kind of way. So you feel like somebody wronged you, but it's because you've spoken that up on yourself. And so it's got when you're speaking on words, those words are energy and it's a field. And so it goes into the energy, the field of vibration and frequency, and it picks up. So, but if you're on that frequency, so it's got to come back to you somehow, you know. And so that's the thing that people just don't get to again believe in what you are going to put yourself into, and your purpose again will become so clear that you will not be lost any longer. You'll see everything for what it actually is and why it is. Okay, back to you, Saul.
No, I love that. And that's the thing. Like when you learn and you get to this level of enlightenment, there is no judgment. There is no judgment. It's
Right.
understanding of your brother or sister. It's understanding that, this person is just at this area of their journey and they're just not there yet, right? Um, and you grow a patience, that is just out of love, right? Because you get it. And you can't force anybody to be ahead of their journey. They're going through it, and we have to allow them to reflect on it and understand it, because until they come to full understanding of what they're going through and why, and take that responsibility, I'll bring it back to what you said, then and only then can change occur. And it's beautiful when you see that step. It's really beautiful. And self-talk is huge. You know, a lot of us don't realize we're sitting here bad mouthing ourselves. Sometimes we hit our toe or something. Oh, that was so stupid. Oh, I'm so stupid. Or something simple. We do something silly and we call ourselves stupid, or I'm such an idiot, or, you know, things like that we don't even realize it. We're commanding. That's a command. We're sending it to our
Yeah.
brain, right?
Yes.
You're telling yourself you're stupid. Your mind is taking that literally. Literally. So, you know, you start feeling like you're not so smart, you know, and you wonder why. And you've down talked yourself, you've demeaned
Yes.
yourself, you've disrespected yourself. Why?
Yes.
You need to be more loving and start recognizing that self talk is super important, right? Super important. And it can either build us or break us. That's why I'm going to leave you guys with affirmations at the end. But
Sounds like a plan right there. You know,
absolutely.
you just covered something that's specific and very important. The brain itself, your consciousness, doesn't know what's real and what's not real. So if you think it, it's real to the brain, no matter what it is. That's why, in the metaphysical sense, you can how do I want to entangle? You can entangle yourself with somebody else, no matter where they are in the world, if you speak that you want to be entangled with them. Now, they will feel something. This is if these two people are kind of connected in some type of way of discussed or talk to one another. They can feel each other's energy. And so if you desire to offer this person love, they feel that love from you. No matter whether it's written, spoken, or just thought, they can feel that. Because again, the brain is always in imagination mode. It's always processing. It's like a computer system. You're programming. And so you have to understand that when you think, whatever you think is real. It's very real. But see, a lot of people, that you mentioned this earlier, a lot of people do not understand that their imagination is so powerful. But if you read religious books, they're all into imagination. Everything starts from them speaking it into existence. It doesn't exist until they speak it, you know. So you have to understand that a lot of it is metaphysical, but it's metaphorical too. So whatever you speak it's the abracadabra thing. I speak what you see. That's real, you know, and that's what people get lost at. Out of all of the groups in the world that are secret, and what they're keeping is information. That's what they know. They know the information that you don't have access to because you think it's not real. To them, they live it, and so that's why a lot of times people close the door on themselves because they're thinking that nothing is outside of them is possibly, happening. And if they don't see it, it can't possibly be happening. But all these secret society groups speak in context of the imagination. That's what makes them thrive the way they do. So when you reach certain levels within the group, they teach you this, and then you live your life accordingly to this belief system that if you speak something, it's possible for you to have that. And everything that you speak can come to you. But it may not happen. I've done a show with Karen and Joan before where we talked a little bit about this. It may not happen tomorrow, but if you speak it and believe it and you put it into the universe, it's happening. If you own the same frequency, you can start to see it come to you. But if you're not on that frequency, then you just speak it and like, I want a new car. Well, if you, like you just said about the body, if you're not eating the proper foods or resting and thinking positively, then you can't raise your frequency level to be able to see those things. So you think that you say I spoke it, but where is it? Where's my car at? Because you're not on the frequency of the car. The car is on a different frequency. And so in order for you to see it in a material context, you have to raise your frequency. But if you can raise it, you'll see that car. And it will come to you if you can maintain that frequency you start getting the information that you need to acquire what you need to arrive at that level to obtain that whatever you spoke of. It's a car, you'll get it. So that's what people. And everybody's not supposed to get this information, but those who do know this, the world is a whole different place to them. They operate from a world that people who don't understand this or think that they need something outside of themselves to make it happen. They never see what is presented to them in this physical life form that we have that they can actually have. They're waiting on, well, when I get to this place, this certain place, then I'll be able to get all this stuff. Really? You can have it now, but
Right.
you have to understand that it's a process of you elevating. That's what we're here for. Basically, is to understand that everything that you do is leading to something else. And as you reach these levels, you start going through the doorways. Your world will improve. So you don't have to stay away from negative stuff. You don't have to stay away from negative people. You can actually walk through those areas, and it won't bother you because you are something different than what the energy of the negativity is, and they can feel that. So I like to tell people a lot of times that I can go pretty much anywhere and be around pretty much anybody, and it won't change me or push me to adapt to them. It pushes them to adapt to me. And
Right.
sometimes that intimidates people because they're trying to figure out, I'm 6 feet, 180 pounds, okay? So I'm not a real imposing force. I'm in good shape, but I'm not, physically, you look at me, I look like just the average guy, right? But when I'm around guys who are larger than me, they give me respect based off of my energy.
Right.
So it doesn't matter how small I am, they respect what they feel from me. So when I speak, then they're like, wait a minute, and he had a brain too. He can actually think. Oh, I'm down with you, dude. So where you going? I'll follow you, man. And so that's what people don't understand. They think that if they have, and take Napoleon for instance, that was a very small man, but he conquered the world, and he was a little bitty guy. You look at him and think, okay, I could just step on his head and move on about my business. But you couldn't do that because he carried himself like he was an imposing figure. He was larger than two or three or four men put together. So that's how people saw him. A lot of times, and then I'm turning it back over to you. I've met people who, when they finally meet me in person, they're like, "What? Wait a minute, it's not that much to you, man. What the?" They heard about me, and so they turned me into this persona that I'm bigger than life. So when they see me in person, they see that I'm just a regular person. They're like, "What the hell? Man, I thought you were." No, you kept create the energy for that, and my energy field in takes it and says, "Okay, I am bigger than life," and so that's what you believe that I am until you see me. And so, a lot of times people are their own worst enemy, so to speak. You know, and so a lot of the things that you're talking about from the inside out, that's going to help people get to where they need to go. If they understand what their journey is and they can put themselves in place, you're saying, look, if you do these things, you will start your journey and you will be fine. You will be just fine. Male, female, whatever you may be, you will be fine. But if you don't do these things, because your body is not aligned with your spirit, you can't do or see or understand these things. So then you can't, contextually, you can't put it together. And so that's why, a lot of times, and I'm going to say this last thing here, the imagery of Jesus walking on water is a spiritual thing. It's not a physical thing. People get it all crossed up thinking that, okay, but it's spiritual. So if you understand this from that perspective, you too can walk on water. And it tells you that. But see, they've made it to where people think that it's all this stuff is physical. The Bible itself and every other religious book is spiritual. Once you understand that this stuff is spiritual and take away the physical aspect of it that you've been taught that it is, your life becomes a lot easier to live. You see the world for what it really is. And as you mentioned, Joan mentioned this a little bit earlier, people will then come to you and feel whatever you have to talk about, they will feel that. No matter where you are, whether it's through this medium or it's in person, they will feel that. And so when they do, they will come to you, and then it's up to you how you interact with them.
Right.
So I'm gonna shut up now and let you pick up. Go ahead.
Yeah.
This was all fantastic.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Joanne. I'm sorry.
No, I was talking, asking Karen, what do you think so far?
Oh my God, they're touching on all the spots
Yeah,
in your body.
Just try.
You're touching on all the spots in your body. We are covering the whole system. We are covering from head to toe
mm-hmm.
because it's what you listen to, what you
Sure,
eat, what goes down here, how you think, what goes in the gut. Because whatever going in the gut, that is what is going to feed the whole system,
Right.
you know. So we are touching on all areas in life here right now. And the beautiful thing is that you can take notes. You can take notes, or you could go back and listen to this replay because it's going to help you to understand more about yourself. Many times, sometimes you wake up in the morning and you don't know why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Sometime the day before, you've been dealing with a particular energy,
sure.
and you absorb this energy within you.
Mm.
And because you absorb this energy within you, your body cannot tolerate it anymore. So you gotta find a way now to get rid of that energy. And
Right.
if you don't get rid of that energy, you could become stagnant. And then it start to form things around your body. So you gotta be in tune with your body. You also have to be intentional with what you do on a daily basis with your life.
Yes.
You have to. Over to you, Saul.
Absolutely. Phenomenal. I mean, we really have. I mean, even we've touched a little bit of every scope, and it's really all about holistic health. And there's so much more to touch. That's why it's so crazy getting into these topics, because it's never ending, guys. There's so much
Right.
to learn. And there's always little tips. So I definitely agree with what she said. Go back, take some notes. Go back to some of the old episodes, take some notes. Like honestly, everything that's been shared over time has been for your health, for your well being. And all these nuggets will get you to a better life. That's guaranteed if you actually do them. Without further ado, I know I want to be conscious of time, and I definitely want to get into the nervous system, because, guys, I want to explain to you how our thought process works and how we are affected, or how this actually processes through us, right, to get us to an actual action, and how that's affecting our body.
1 second, Saul. Yeah.
No problem. Take your time.
Yeah, I'm so glad we're doing this show tonight because the thing is, we have moved through 2024 and we're here now. And this is a good way where we can start to like think about resetting everything to close strong and gearing up for 2025. And what a way that we can start. It's never too late to start, where we can start thinking about things and how we should process our thoughts, how we should look at our food, what should we managing out in ourselves, how we deal with stress, and what are the things we let go of, and what the things that we don't continue to carry with us, so that we can move in a place of, as the topic is, healing healthy in healthy ways.
Absolutely. So, was that for me to continue, John? I'm like, wait,
Yeah,
I was waiting
yeah,
for
no,
more from you. I'm like,
sorry.
wait, hold on, there's some more.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, keep coming, keep coming.
yeah.
All right. Oh man, Will, I even wanted to respond to some things you said with the frequency staying the same and staying
Oh,
balanced. And
yeah.
as a Reiki master, I just have to say one more thing before I jump into this nervous system thing, because it was so important what you said. And I'll give you the perfect example, right? Sometimes I know a lot of women that are dating, right? And I went through this myself, where we're looking for a man, we want a man, you guys you're looking for a woman, you guys want a woman. But at the same time, even though you're saying that, and this is what I want is a word of lack. Number one. Okay. Um, right. So let's start learning these words so we can stop using them or using them appropriately. Because, start noticing how the mind perceives these things and how it's actually defined through it. It's important. And you'll understand why in a second. But what he said was very important. You can't say that and then go to your friend and be like, these ain't nothing, right? So, and because then what are we saying? We're contradicting and confusing our brain and the frequency that we're trying to stay on. There's no way you can stay on the same frequency if you're completely contradicting what you're saying. So you have to be in tune, right? You can't just say it from the mouth out, because you got a brain that knows better. So if you're saying it from here out and you're not believing it, honey, that's why you're still attracting that person that's not.
True.
So I just want to throw that example out there because I think that's a good one, because a lot of people say this, right?
Our next thing to let me jump in with this one here quickly. Our next thing too, right? Will talked about relationships in the earlier part as well, right? A lot of times people are saying why I keep attracting the same type of person into my life, because you're not healed.
Right.
And if you're not healed, you're going to continue to attract that same individual in your life until you get the message that healing needs to take place in your life. That is why many times when people jump out from one relationship, you really need to take time with yourself before you jump back into the next relationship.
Pause.
But you know what happened? A lot of times we can't even sit with ourselves. We can't even be with ourselves. We are fearful of ourselves. So we are looking for comfort. And because we're looking for comfort, we are running into the wrong things.
Exactly.
We are running into the wrong things. So take time to heal yourself before you jump into another relationship. And another thing, you take your baggage from one relationship and you take it into another relationship. That person has absolutely nothing to do with that past relationship. And you bringing that baggage into the new relationship, which is unfair to that individual who you're dealing with right now. Saul, over to you.
No, but I want to jump here. I want to say that being lonely is okay.
Yes, it is.
Because being lonely is giving yourself time to heal, giving yourself time to process, giving yourself time to reflect, and help you to understand, I know what I want and I know what I don't want.
Oh,
So, in order for you to move forward, as you take the time to heal and you put yourself in a place and reflect and analyze and evaluate what I want, what I know what I don't want, and what I want. So then it puts you in a space how to choose what you want your next to be. Over to you, Saul.
You see why we never stop talking? Because I love this. Like, we just bounce off each other. Guys, this is what I'm telling you. There's so much knowledge here, so much to share, guys.
Did you see what I turned into Jones hype man there for a second? I was yesterday.
Because it's true. We don't. Listen, I'm the perfect example, guys. Listen, I admit it. I'm the first to admit it. I was so toxic before, like all these things that life took me through, environmental conditioning and adaptation just to survive, that we don't even realize it. Like all these things that kick into play keep you in gear just to survive. And we don't even take the time to understand this process. This is why we're stuck, which takes me to the nervous system, because we're going to talk about it now.
Let's do
it. Let's do it. All right. Right, guys. All right. The beauty about this process is that before we even jump, it's all right. Take your time, because before we even jump into this autonomic, nervous system, the first thing is when we see something, right? Us seeing something is already putting an image in our brain, which is connecting automatically to an emotion. Most memories connect to an emotion. That's what gives us an emotional charge. That allows us to know how to feel, right, about what we're seeing, right? That has reactions within us that cause neurotransmissions, right, to occur, or hormone releases from our organs. It depends
Right.
what's happening. So from that happening, right, the first thing is our central nervous system, because our central nervous system is what you see here, guys. Our central nervous system is the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, that is our central nervous system. We have quite a few group of systems in the nervous systems that work together, right? And they all have different functions. That's what I'm saying. We're a whole machine, and we don't even know how to operate this machine that we're walking in. This
No
is so
instruction.
important, so important, right?
But
How are you going to
nobody gave
operate a machine?
nobody gave us instructions. Okay.
I'm
So
about to. I'm about to break it down. Are you ready?
yes, let's do that. Let's do
All
that.
right. So when you see something, like I said, boom, automatically it goes to the brain. Now a message has to be sent to the rest of us to know how to process that or what to do with that. The thing with what's happening in today's world is that most of us are living and so overstimulated with all this oversaturation of information from every single area of life that you look at. There's so much information. So the brain doesn't know the difference from having a fire that you're running out of, right? Or a bill that you can't pay. Our nervous system, right? Our sympathetic nervous system, which is our survival nervous system that goes into fright, flight, and fight mode, takes over. Out of stress, it just takes over, right? So most of the time, a lot of us do not realize that we're living in survival mode. And that's due to the environmental conditioning that we are living in today. It's so important to know these things, because the problem is that most of us we can't, because we don't take the time to do our breath work or to learn how to meditate. We can't quiet the mind. You do not allow your parasympathetic nervous system to do its job and bring the body back to homeostasis. Now, what does all this mean? I'll break it down.
Okay.
This is why I wanted this chart and to give you guys a visual, okay? Because certain things happen when you're in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, your pupils dilate because you need to be able to see. If it's dark, you need to be able to see further, and you need to be able to see the light, no matter where. So your eyes will dilate, your pupils will dilate. Salivary glands, all right? It inhibits salivation. Why? Because that's energy. Anything that your body does is energy. And what the body does in fright, flight, and fight mode is it conserves energy and sends it to the right places to make sure that you can survive the situation that you're in. Mm-hmm. Right? So in this case, your heart is accelerated. Your heart's beating fast, right? Because we need it to pump blood to our extremities or to whatever we think we need it at, and it pumps it out to our extremities. Now, what happens in this case is that it pulls. So there's vasodilation occurring, which means that your veins, your arteries, all that stuff open up so more blood flow can go from your heart to your extremities, so you have more force and more strength to survive whatever it is you're going through. You wonder why so many of us are dealing with high blood pressure. There should not be that much vasodilation occurring throughout our life. It's too much. And then we have restrictions and inhibitions in our digestive tract or our urinary tract, right? Because in a time of fighting or in survival, you can't worry about having to poop or go take a like you can't, right? It's more important, right? I'm sorry, but it's true. Yes. It's more important that we get out this situation, right? So many of us are dealing with constipation and problems with our digestive gut. Yeah. This is part of the reason as well, right? That's what I'm saying. This is all connected, guys. It's not just one thing. It is multi-leveled. And if we don't take care of all those levels, we will still suffer. So I want you guys to start making the connection. All right. In the same thing.
1 second, so.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is like in an office setting where you have a disagreement with somebody and it's on your mind real heavy that you need to deal with them, right? Mm-hmm. But if the body is stuck in poop mode, then you're like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll get that next week. So I will put a timeout on that, write that down. Next Wednesday at 2 p.m., I'm going to walk up to them and say, you, whatever is going to come after that, right? So the body is not functional for the confrontation at the moment because, again, like you said, they could be in poop mode. So if they're in poop mode, then they're like, okay, well, you know what? I'll put this off to next week. I just don't feel right. Even though they're angry, so that's causing them to be in that poop mode. So they're like, my back is hurting and I feel like I'm constipated. And, but you know what? I'll deal with that next week. So you just wait. Next week, I'll see you. So,
But
it's
now
going back.
what happens is now you're carrying that energy for a whole week.
Right,
This
right.
Right.
person went on with their life and they're living and happily enjoying every part of it while
Uh-huh.
you're sitting here stressing about something that you didn't release at the moment. Now, when you're angry, never respond, ever.
Right.
Because you're
Yeah.
not going to respond in an angry state, right? Process it,
Uh-huh.
right? That's part of our growth. We have to process
Exactly.
it. We should be responding and not reacting. And
That's right.
if we're saying something in a moment of anger or harsh emotion where it's a negative emotion, we're
Yeah.
not going to respond, right? That's not, you're never going to get anywhere. And the right words, you may say something you regret, you
True,
know?
true.
So I think that part of self-mastery is also recognizing that and understanding that we must learn how to manipulate our own emotions. Because
That's
when
right.
you react, you're just going off emotion. You're not even thinking logically. You're not.
Hmm. Yeah.
But these are the things. So in survival mode, going back to that, right? Another thing that happens is our liver stimulates glucose release because it needs energy. Our body needs more energy, right? Sugar metabolizes as energy in the body. And so these are the things that are happening while we're in survival mode, right? Our kidneys are releasing epinephrine, right? And norepinephrine. So we have cortisol levels through the roof, right? We have all these things happening. We have adrenaline rushing through our body. We have epinephrine, norepinephrine running through our body, hormones, neurotransmitters, all this stuff is happening within us. And you wonder why we're dying with anxiety? This is
Oh.
why. This is why, because this is what's happening inside you, and your body is not meant to function like this,
Exactly.
a regular state of being. And unfortunately, majority of us in this life right now are living in that state. We're
Yes.
living in survival mode.
All the time.
We really are. And this
Yeah.
is why we're being affected, and this is why we're getting sick, right? Because if the body is inhibiting peristalsis basically means your intestines bringing the food down, right? All the way down. It's tracking it down, right? So if it's inhibiting that, your body can't even digest properly to even give you the nutrition that you even need from your food. So you can't even absorb that, right? Living in survival mode once again. And like I said, it reduces the need to pee because in survival mode, obviously, it's worried about what you need to survive,
Yeah.
not live. We are surviving, we are not living. That is the problem. And this is why it is so important to start to become aware of these things so we can help our parasympathetic system bring our body back to homeostasis. That is why stillness is important. That is why knowing this and understanding this is so important because this is what meditation and time to do our breath work and journal helps us do, right? If we're able to bring ourselves out of survival mode, our digestive system will start to function properly. Okay. Our urinary tract, our bladder will be able to do what it's supposed to do and help us use the bathroom when we're supposed to. Right. Our lungs will constrict the bronchi. Right. So we don't have them just open, inhaling everything. Like it's not meant to do that. It's just not meant to live like that. Our liver will actually do the bile release like it needs to instead of secreting glucose all the time. Our heart will beat how it's supposed to. We'll have less heart disease. You know, salivation helps with a lot of things because depending on different things, our mouth helps us break different, different things down, and it causes, so even our salivary glands are necessary in order to secrete the right things for us to be able to break things down the proper way. And our eyes should not be like this all the time, even though I have hypothyroidism, so sometimes they are.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
But this is the importance. And this is why taking the time to be able to do our breath work is so critical, because our breath work basically helps us calm our nervous system down. Okay. Be able to say, hey, it's okay, relax. And that's what we're doing with breath work. We're telling our body, hey, take a chill pill, relax, bring it back down. Let's get ourselves back to normal. Once we start to learn how to live a normal life, we'll understand how we were living a survival life.
Sure.
And your
That was
life
powerful.
will
That was
change.
powerful. Yeah, that was very powerful right there. Go ahead.
Wow.
Say that.
Do you guys have any specific questions on this topic specifically, or anything around it? I would love to answer.
The amazing thing how you touch on everything. You talk about the heart and the reason why things happen. You talk about the liver, the reason why things happen. And so you provided us with such a great overview of anatomy and physiology and what happened with our organs if we just not taking care, focusing on stress. And I like how you talk about breath work and your meditation and how stillness is so important because we rush all the time. We
Right.
get up and we don't practice any morning routine. We jump out our bed, we gone. Nightly, when we come back home, we don't take the time to just unwind, calm down, get quiet. During the course of the day, get quiet, pause, and bring our body into the level of alignment so we can function.
Right.
Karen?
You know, Saul, you really break down a lot of things that a simple child can understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You
Perfect.
know, a simple child can understand exactly what you're saying, how we should really be living our daily life.
Right.
We are taking this life for granted. You know, we're not paying attention to how we are really treating our bodies. We're not paying attention of the things that we are really saying about ourselves.
Oh, that's so important.
you know and because we are not doing that, we are destroying ourselves in the process, and not realizing that we are destroying ourselves in this process. We really need to sit and take a look at our lives, and to process and to understand the organs in our body, and what we are doing, how these things are affecting these organs in our body. Because once one part in the body is broken down, the other parts is being affected.
Yes.
Because remember, everything is interconnected. So if one, let's look at it like a pipeline, right? When your intestines, when you experience dysbiosis, right, and you have a leaky gut, things that not supposed to be in there is going to seep in there.
Of course.
And when things seep in there, that is where you start to have a lot of
A
problems.
big problem.
So look at a pipeline. Let's say you got a pipeline coming to your house, and there is a leakage, there is a breakage. Dirty water start to seep in
Right.
there. You
Bacteria.
don't want to drink that water because that is not healthy for you.
Right.
So when things start to break down in the body, that is exactly what's happening. Unhealthy things get into the system, so the system cannot function properly. And that is when you start to experience so many problems in your body. Diseases start to develop.
Right.
You're not feeling well. You got to run to the doctor, and that's a whole nother story, you know. But because we are not paying attention to how we are treating this vessel,
Right.
this vessel is our transportation to take us from point A to point B. And we got to treat this vessel right because we need this vessel to take us through life. And in order for us to do that, we got to treat the organs right. We got to pay attention to the organs. And if we don't pay attention to the organs, again, you're going to start to have the breakdown. And I really like how Saul touched on fight, flight, and
Right.
fright mode,
Right.
because many times that is what we are living in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are living in that mode all the time, your body is going to producing a lot of inflammation,
Right.
and which is not good for your body. It's going to it's going to reap havoc in your body. So we got to start to pay attention to what we are saying, what we are doing, what we are eating, what we are listening to, the people we are surrounding ourselves with. So it's so many things you
Yeah.
have to take into consideration for this body. So many things for this body.
Right.
That's all.
That is so important because, as you rightfully said, this is our infrastructure. So we got to build it and build it well,
Yeah.
because we have all these goals, and we want to achieve so much, and we're high achievers, and it's good. It's a good thing. But then we have to stop and pause. And how do we maintain this body? What are
Yes.
some of the things that we have to do? Which brings us to self awareness, self love, take time to heal so that we can live life with our all, give everything. But we cannot give everything if we don't love ourselves, if we're not eating right, if we're not taking time to do some grounding, get out in nature and pulling all that good energy in so we can walk with that level of power. We can experience everything because we're taking that time to refuel, to rebel, so that we can achieve everything that we want and be looking
Yes.
for in life. So,
I mean, yes, absolutely. Everything you said, you guys always summarize this so well, but I just want to leave you guys with understanding these difference. Guys, our brain is such a powerful machine. It's taking all this information at milliseconds. It's not even a second, it's milliseconds, right? And it's processing it all. And that's the thing, it's overloaded, right? Things have become so complicated because technology has definitely taken over simplicity. And simplicity is really where peace lies,
mm,
right?
beautiful.
So it's difficult to come back to it, but it's necessary. It's very necessary for ourselves. So give yourself that time. I remember when I had the opportunity to speak with the Buddha, um, Fata, right? What's his name? Panta.
Panty.
Bante.
Fancy,
Yeah.
sorry. He was amazing, and I asked him, like, just curious, like, what would you suggest would be a good time? How much time should we meditate daily? What do you feel would be right for everybody? So the recommendation was 15 minutes. Now, if you can't take 15 minutes for yourself to be still on a daily basis, I ask you to reconsider what you're doing. You have 24 hours in a day. There is
Uh-huh.
no way that you're not worth 15 minutes. Okay? You are worth it. So give it to yourself. It's necessary. Understand that by you overstimulating yourself with this phone, with the environment around you, these things are occurring, which is causing havoc on your body. It's important for you to be aware of these things so you can start to take control of these things. Because in the same way, I'm going to give you guys a tool and leave you with that. The same way that you think of a thought and it's causing a reaction within you and you're feeling an emotion because of it, you have the power to now change it by being self aware. If you have an emotion and you're going through something, whether you were triggered or saw something or something made you feel some type of way, okay, understand that a negative way of seeing it will produce a negative effect, right? But if you switch how you feel And you can do this various ways. You can either look at the positive in what you're seeing, if you're that advanced where you can do that. Sometimes we're not there yet, right? And that's okay. If you can't, then I want you to visualize something positive. All right. We call it an emergency button. Mine is always this. All right. So this is so nobody can see, nobody has an idea of what I'm going through, what I'm doing. But this is my little button to myself to say, hey, alarm, go to your visual of positivity because right now you need it. Right. And visualize something that made you the happiest in the world at that moment. And remember how you were laughing and remember how you felt. Right. And you will reproduce that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Stay there, breathe into that, stay there. In a couple of minutes, your whole state of being will change.
Yes.
Yeah.
You will be able to release that emotion and now allow this one to take over. Because during that transmission, neurotransmitters are being released throughout your body to make you feel some type of way, right? And if we can stop it in its track and make sure that our body is actually releasing the ones that we are choosing for it to release, now we are in control of what we are feeling. And that is important.
Well,
Well,
You know, all three of you ladies touched on some good points and brought up some things that resonate with everybody that's listening to the show and watching it. Um, I just want to say thank you for letting me be a part of this discussion. This is really good. You guys laid out some very good, interesting, thought provoking uh, things that people should consider. And then, like you said, so uh, some type of way incorporate it into your life and let it kind of fill the gaps that you have where you're trying to figure out what are you missing. If you can do that, you'll find your way. You know, people want security and comfort, but you can't get there unless those gaps are filled first. You have to fill in the gaps. And if you don't want to do that, then you always feel uncomfortable and definitely without security. You always feel like you're missing something. And so, again, you know, I, for me, a show like this on a topic that we've discussed is deep because it's profound on a spiritual
yeah.
level,
Mm-hmm.
a mental level, and the physical level. And so, a lot of times, you know, you do when you see shows like this or watch them or so forth, you don't get a full gambit of all of that in one show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they kind of go in one direction and they kind of stay there. But
Mm-hmm.
all, like you said, so all of this, and Karen and Joan always speak of this, all of this is one. It's all connected. And so once you understand that all these pieces are just like a puzzle to be put together, once you figure out how to put that puzzle together, you will win at whatever it is you want to do. And so you won't have that emptiness or that feeling of incompleteness or that lack. It'll all come together for you. Understand that you can do this, you know, and it's there for you for your taking. You just have to actually start the process. And so, again, I just want to thank you guys for letting me be a part of this. And you know, if we do something like this again in the future, I'd love to be a part of it because, as you said, so this is just the first part of it. So,
Right.
I'm sure Joan and Karen have some ideas of something that they want to do in this regard. So, if you guys plan something like this, I'll clear my schedule for it. We'll make it
Yeah.
happen.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
thank you for letting me be a part of it.
That
Can I
is
say one more
beautiful.
thing? I'm sorry, real quick. I just want to say something based on what you said and what you guys all touched on. If you feeling lonely or you want to fill that void with something negative, find your support system, guys. It's so important when you're in your
So
healing
good.
process to
Yep.
find your
Yep.
support.
Yep. Yep. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to throw that out there because when you get good people that are going to lead you in the right direction, or when you feeling lonely and you have that good company, call them. Listen, I need you right now. And I'm so grateful to my friends and the people that I have, my mentors, because they have been a world of a difference in staying positive and staying on the right path, right? In knowing and staying strict on where the ultimate goal is to achieve. I just wanted to throw that out
Well,
there.
we're
That's
gonna
good.
throw you on the spot, Saul. Thank you for saying that. Take us out with a guided meditation because we talk about so much. How can we bring everything down and get into our calmness and get into our zen? Is that okay for you to do that for us?
Me?
You, yeah,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
Sure, absolutely. All right. So let's see.
We're sorry to put you on the spot.
I know. I'm like, woo, it's okay. Um,
You'll be fine.
well, how about right now? The first thing that I do want to show you guys is definitely some breath work processes. Can we do some of that first? Because that way, at least you guys learn how to begin breathing to calm your nervous system down. Since we spoke about the nervous system so much, and then while we do that, when we all get in sync, then I'll go into the guided meditation. You guys continue breathing through that. Okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
All right, fantastic. So, super important. If you can do 5-8, I would prefer that. If you can only do 4-7, and what I mean by that is 5 in, we're going to inhale for 5, we're going to hold for 2, and we're going to release for 8. And then we're going to hold at the bottom for 2 and continue that process. 5, 2, release 8, hold 2, inhale 5, hold 2, release 8. Okay? Now, this is
Yes.
how it looks. Very important that when you're doing and you're breathing, all right, you actually, and I want you guys to see this because this is important, all right? Your diaphragm, this is where you're breathing from. Do not breathe from your lungs, breathe from your diaphragm, all right? Super important. So when you're breathing in, you will feel the energy from down here, literally by your hips, and think of it going up, all the way up to your neck. All right, hold for 2. And then when you release, same thing, it's gonna go out. Does that make sense, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it does.
So this is very important because a lot of people are breathing through here and that doesn't help the whole nervous system really come down. But it's important that you push your breathing into your diaphragm,
Right.
breathe in that aspect. All right, this will really help you get into a deeper meditation. So let's try this with a count. Ready? Up, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 2, 1. Release 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 1, 2. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2. Release 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2. Inhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Release 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep breathing. Now, guys, I just want you to go in and focus. Continue breathing in these senses. And when you feel your mind about to wander, continue your count and go back to it. Anytime that you feel your mind wandering, make sure you come back to the count to refocus you. The key is to start finding a way to fine tune your brain to stay focused and quiet. Unfortunately, we're so, always running to everything else that this is the difficult part. But for right now, this is all we need to continue doing. Just keep breathing in and keep breathing out. And as you push out, feel yourself releasing all the things that you've been holding on to. When you breathe in, feel yourself pulling Mother Gaia's energy all the way in and regenerate, refill, release, regenerate, release, and continue doing this as we process all these emotions and all these things that we were taught today. And just sit in this for a moment. Sit in this for a moment. Continue breathing in and release out. And release. Anytime you're inhaling through these processes, make sure that you're inhaling through your nose and that you're exhaling out of your mouth. Come back to this type of breathing anytime that you need to quiet your mind. And remember, anytime that your mind is going off track, go back to the breathing. I want you guys to focus on this simple tool just to get yourself accustomed to the breath work. And anytime that your mind tries to go off, go back to your breathing. Sean, you definitely can. That was actually just a really quick 2-minute meditation. So there's no way that, and you can't do this, guys. There's no way. And sorry, I was interrupted, but that's lifing, right? You can't help what happens. And that's how easily you can be distracted, right? So that's actually a beautiful example of how easily you can be distracted from what you're trying to focus on. But make sure that no matter what happens, you always get back and give yourself that time. And Karen, I'm glad you did that because breath work through emotions is different. And when that's actually a breath technique that I use when I feel so full of energy or I'm dealing with a strong emotion that I need to
Yes.
release, you should release it with that same strength. Yes.
You
Right.
I
gotta
do.
put out.
Yep. And that hard. And it works, guys. So depending on what you're feeling, also use your breath work to your advantage. Because when I'm angry, I'm like, I'm serious.
Mhm.
So I'm sorry
Sean,
for the
Sean is saying,
interruption.
can I ask a question? Sure, Sean, you can ask a question. That was really good, Saul. Really, really good.
Oh my
Really,
God, that was so amazing.
really
I'm,
good.
I'm I'm sorry I got interrupted. It distracted me.
No, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
That was really good. Oh my God, you guys was truly amazing
Yeah.
tonight, and it really helped us to really understand more about ourselves and how we should really take a hard look at the life we're living. We should understand that the energies that we're giving off, that is what we are attracting to ourselves. And we should understand that we all, each day, are on a frequency.
Right.
And whatever frequency you are on, that is what you're going to be attracting to yourself. And you may be asking yourself, why is this happening to me all the time? But you got to watch your frequency. You got to watch your energy that you're projecting out, your thought patterns, the things that you're saying. You got to re-examine. He's asking the question, Saul. What are your thoughts on guys needing to pay alimony, etc., in choosing AI girlfriends? I don't know what is that, Saul. Could you answer that?
Um, paying. We gonna have to talk, Sean. You better hit me personally because this sounds like you need some advice, and I have no problem giving you some on this aspect. But yeah, hit me privately for that answer so I can understand it perfectly because that can go into a can of worms. But I also wanted to say, the guys, this is just breath work and a quick meditation that we just did. But journaling is super important for us to be self aware, right? Because in journaling, we have a diary of what we feel and how we can go back
Yes.
to it and begin to be aware of what we're thinking and how we're processing it. And it's beautiful to also go back to and see your growth, right? Because when you look back, some of the journals that I have that are even 3 years ago, right? When I started, my business, Savage of Life, before I connected with natural, with Crystal,
Right.
Um, I remember when I started that business, and just to see how far I am now is beautiful. And it's also something where we don't pat ourselves enough in the back, but that gives us the thing to say, hey, you know what? I've grown. Let me pat myself on the back. Guys, and don't forget to do that as well. It's super important. It's so easy to criticize ourselves and to down ourselves. The world does that enough. Don't do that to yourself. Pat
Sure.
yourself on the back. Give yourself courage and give yourself grace, like these sisters always say, because it's super important. It is. It's tough out here. It's a crazy world. And we're giving you insight on little tips of how you're being affected by this outside world. So little steps by steps, you guys will start feeling what we call normal. What is normal? Who knows? But somewhat near normal. So journaling is important, meditation is important, and breath work literally calms your nervous system down. Even in the medical field, when somebody comes in with high blood pressure, we make them take 3 deep breaths before we take their blood pressure again, and sometimes sit there for an hour. I mean, not an hour, I'm sorry, a minute before we take it again, just to make sure that that process helped their
It's
nervous system.
down. Yes.
Right. So all these things interact with each other, guys. We're not just saying this. These things are tools that help you on a much more profound level.
Yes. Well,
I don't have anything to add to that. No, that's a good note right there. So I'm gonna stay with that energy and just ride it out.
I love it.
Will said something.
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I did. I did.
This was a very impactful show this evening. And it's very inspiring, very informative discussion that we had this evening because we touch on the whole body. We touch on the whole body, and it's to help an individual to understand the process of healing. And healing, you cannot force healing. Healing has to go through the different stages. And going through the different stages, it requires different tools for you to go through the stages of healing. And what works for you may not work for somebody else. But the important things that will work is your breath work, your mindfulness, your meditation, and you can go with if you want your prayers or whatever else is working for you. Grounding is super important. Going out in nature, enjoying nature. Nature alone is a healing properties that we need to enjoy. Why do you think nature is there? It's for us. We're a part of nature, and it's free. We don't have to pay. It is free of cost, and we need to utilize it to our advantage. Go out into the sunlight, absorb that energy. The sun is so beautiful when it is shining out there. Just step outside and just enjoy that sunlight. You will feel that energy, how it is going to be transmitted into your body. You know, so we really need to sit down and take a hard look and see exactly where we're heading. And if we need to make shifts, it's okay to make shifts. You are allowed to make shifts. Because remember, your body is going through evolution and shifts are going to happen, you know. And because you are evolving, it's going to be uncomfortable. It will be uncomfortable. But then you have to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. Because you know what? When you pass through that phase and you come out from that phase, you will never be the same. You will never be the same how you went in. It's just like you're walking through a door. And when you walk through that door, you're going to feel so good about yourself. And I like when Saul said, when you're looking back, you're just looking back where you came from and you're looking back to gather the tools that you need to support you as you're moving forward in life. This life is beautiful, but we just got to know how to live it. And we have everything to our advantage. We have all the laws of the universe to our advantage. But you know what? We're not practicing it because we don't understand it. So take the time to understand these laws. And once you understand these laws, you really understand yourself and your existence here. You will understand yourself and your existence here. So we really gotta take a hard look at where we are heading. And you know what? And next time I'm gonna touch on, don't be afraid to invest in yourself. You worth it. You worth it. Invest in yourself. Grab yourself a coach or grab yourself somebody who can help you to move forward, because many times you cannot do it on your own.
That's right.
You cannot do it on your own. Invest in yourself. Before you're going to buy a designer bag, invest in yourself. Design yourself the way how you want it. That is what we all need to do. Invest in ourselves because we are worth it. We are worth it. So this evening, you know what? If you're joining us late, you need to watch this replay because there is a lot of stuff, a lot of tools you have in this show this evening that gonna help you to exit 2024 and go into 2025 in a good state of mind, because you're understanding your body, your makeup, your thoughts. Salt touch on journaling. It is super important when we are going through those emotions to write it down, because you know what? When you write down those emotions, how you're feeling, and when you remove from that space and you look back, you can see the evolution that happened in your life. So when you document it, you're able to look back and as Saul said, pat yourself on the back and tell yourself, I did it. I did it. I am proud of me. Go in front of the mirror and tell yourself, I am proud of me. I am proud of how I have evolved into this beautiful person. So, this evening, love yourself, show yourself grace and compassion. It is super important. Watch the words you're telling yourself. Because if you're telling yourself words that is not suitable for your life, that is what you're going to attract to your life. And then you're going to say, this always happening to me because it's the things that you're saying. So just watch yourself and believe in yourself. John?
Wow. What a great show tonight. We have
Yeah,
to do part two.
it is. It is.
And
Well, part two, boy.
all,
Well,
I mean,
Excuse me.
what a nice way to are we as we move in are we in the fourth quarter, conclusion of the year. It's a nice space that we are resetting. We are creating in our minds because we'll talk about imaginary.
Hmm.
It's a good junction where we are that we could carve out what we want to close with and what we want 2025 to look like.
Mhm.
We can carve that. We can create that because we have the right to choose what do we want our lives to be and to move forward in this moment onwards. We're constantly becoming. And do we want to be?
Sure.
Are we walking in our level of vibration, the level of frequency? How are you vibing tonight?
Hmm.
How are you vibing tonight? Are you moving in low frequency or are you elevated? Are you leveling up so that you can move in a strength, level high, move high, that you can step in your power, that you can bring all of you? But in order to attain that, there's a lot of work you have to do. You got to do
Hmm.
your self work. You got to do your meditation. You got to do your grounding and reassure yourself and remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself who you are and call yourself by your name.
True.
Whatever your name is, call yourself, remind yourself, reassure yourself, fill yourself up because you are that.
Mhm.
Get to the space of worthiness because you're
Yes.
special.
Yes.
You
Yes.
deserve everything that comes to life to you, all the goodness. So you got to walk in that space because as you navigate life, you want to walk on that level. How do you make someone feel when you leave the room? How are you talking to yourself?
Mhm.
You speaking negatively? Are you speaking negatively about others?
True. True.
Are you speaking negatively about others?
True.
Or are you embracing when you see success? And you
True.
said, I would like to emulate that, or I would like that to come on my journey. How, what are you thinking of when you walk in your path and you're hoping to achieve your greatness? Saul spoke about thoughts. What's your thoughts? And if a negative thought comes into space, have a positive thought. Take yourself to a place where there is joy, there is bliss, there is happiness, there is love. Embrace that. Embrace your creativity because you want to live a life of excellence. I just have to say that. You want to live a life of excellence. You want to live a life of all. But to do all of that and to attain all of that, you have to do the work. Pause, take time. There is power in pause because you do it for you. Choose you today. Keep your cup filled. Be serving everybody else. Take time to refill your cup so you can serve and you can serve well and that you can stay strong, that you could continue to build your infrastructure and show yourself that level of gratitude. We had two amazing people. We have two amazing people here tonight who has filled us up so much. They have give us the level of clarity, insight, and perspective how we can move forward on our journey, finish 2024 strong, and move into 25 with a level of confidence, with a level of courage, and with a level of grace. Will, Saul, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence tonight and serving us well so we can journey on knowing that once we do certain things, we can achieve everything we're aspiring for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to the audience, we just want to thank you so much for joining us, your beautiful comments, because you know what? We are here for you.
Mm-hmm.
We created this space for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's to help you on your journey in life. And you can always come into this space and we know you're going to walk away with something.
Sure.
We know you're going to leave this space with something that is going to fill you up.
Mm-hmm.
So continue to share us out. Continue to subscribe to Soul Light and Body so you will never miss none of these episodes. And to Saul and to Will, we just want to thank you so much for gracing us with your
Thank
presence on Soul Light and Body and giving us the food that we need at this point in time in our life. You served us well.
Thank you.
Served us well. You give us a full buffet style. You
as
know,
as Dr. T would say, yes.
this is a
Yeah.
full buffet style. You choose what you want, you leave what you don't want.
Right.
But I think this particular show, we need everything because it's
Right.
a whole
All.
makeup. You know, we leaving nothing behind. We need the
No.
whole buffet. You
Full
know,
the basket.
exactly. We got to take all the nuggets we need in this show to move along life gracefully. So we just want to thank you guys so much for showing up and just serving us really well. You guys have a fabulous evening wherever you are in the part of the world. Have a fabulous day. And just remember that you are enough. You are special. You're
Yes.
one of a kind. Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you're worthy enough for all the good things in
Right.
life. Be
Love
good.
you
Be
all.
safe. Love you all. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Tommy.
Thank you, Tom.